Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. You may know me. This webinar has been sent out to CAI ShopVue user bases, our customers. My name's Neil Batterby. I've been working with the manufacturing operations products within CAI for 5 years now, primarily with our ShopVue MES. I'm here today to host a conversation with Bobbie Jarvi, who is our VP of Radley Operations, and we're here to talk to you about our business to business EDI product called iReady. I'm going to take a few moments, go through a couple of slides by way of introduction. I know we've had people sign up for this webinar that may be new to EDI, maybe want to learn a little bit more, and maybe others that are frustrated with your existing systems and want to see what we have in place. So I want to start by sharing who CAI is. You know us through Casco Development and the acquisition that CAI made of us in 2019 of our ShopVue solution. CAI Software is a software company with a platform, and the next slide really takes you into this. But our value, our focus, is creating actionable information at every level of your business to increase operational excellence so that people at the front line and the top floor are getting the same information and making the best decisions possible regarding your business. We are vertically oriented. We are very diverse in our customer base. You can see there at the bottom, CAI Software has customers in all the common core manufacturing like automotive, aerospace and defense, metal fabrication, medical devices, and others. But we also have solutions and in some of the market's leading solutions in the lumber and millwork space, precious metals. We have food and beverage solutions, seafood, other protein products, and also distribution. You will find that our customers globally are making the products that you're using today, whether you're driving it, whether you're eating it, and everything in the supply chain that makes those core products that you're buying as a consumer. CAI Software is the recognized leader in the delivery of mission-critical production-oriented systems. They include EDI that we're here to talk to you about today. We have warehouse management and inventory solutions that extend your ERPs through mobile devices to your warehouse. We have a mid-market ERP solution that's used by manufacturers and other business folks. We have MES that you guys know, right, with ShopVue. Some of the other solutions at play, Minotaur, Ameritech. There are a couple of the protein ERPs that we have. And then we have Radley, right, which was an acquisition in 2020, right, soon after the Casco Development acquisition. That's got the EDI solutions that we're talking to you about today, and also the inventory solutions. CAI has offices throughout the world. We're North American focused, US and Canada, but we also have our Ameritech team in Norway, in Europe, and do a lot of other business through partners elsewhere in the world. CAI grows through investment in our people, in our products, and we acquire software companies that solve problems that our customers have. A recent example of that is something that you see at the very top there, the end-to-end capabilities, and that's Possible, our connected worker platform. Keep your eyes open for an invitation to a webinar in the coming weeks to learn about that solution and how we are integrating that with our ShopVue MES products, as well as a lot of the other solutions that you see identified across these CAI brands. Now, specifically onto Radley, we're here to talk about EDI. This is just really a showcase, a sampling of the cross-section of our customers. We have tier one automotive suppliers and companies that are doing businesses with, doing business with big retailers in the markets that they serve, from food to fabric to, anything in the supply chain. So I'm going to take a moment for those that joined this Lunch and Learn to learn a little bit about EDI, just to give you an overview. So EDI is the exchange of business documents between your trading partners, right? So your customers. We use a standard electronic format that communicates between their ERP and your ERP. There are two standards used globally, and they kind of vary based on the trading partner, but there's the X12 and there's the EDIFACT standard. And within these standards, there's, your inbound EDI that's sending purchase orders, acknowledgements, material releases, shipping schedules, and the like to firm up those orders to you. And then on the return side, what we call the outbound side, there are a number of transactions. Most importantly, probably the ASN, right? The advanced shipping notification that is sent as soon as the truck leaves the dock. I guess you could say, and probably should say, that the invoice is the most important document to make sure that you get paid. Anyway, if you're not using EDI today, you're spending time manually exchanging business documents with your trading partners. These processes lead to data errors and time sink, right? You could have your customer service team working on customer-focused issues rather than just translating orders. So if this describes kind of what you do today, feel free to reach out to me, and I can put you in touch with the right people from the Radley organization. We have two EDI products serving two distinct markets. We have Icarus, which is our automotive-focused EDI, designed specifically for that market. What's big about that is the release accounting and the demand reporting, integrated shipping labels, streamlining communication to complex OEMs and tier ones, so you can stay compliant, right, if you're working in that automotive business. And what we're here to talk about today is iReady, which automates those same transactions, X12 and EDIFACT, and maintaining compliance and improving productivity without increasing staff. So one more slide, and then I'm going to pass you over to Bobbie. At a high level, and a benefits to you as an organization embarking on an EDI program, could be any number of these driving factors. You might want to reduce inventories, right? How do you do that? You manage your on-time delivery. You can be shrinking your order fulfillment cycle times, again, driving your on-time delivery. You've got needing, EDI is usually managed and resourced by the IT department, but customer service is really the end customer for it. So you can decrease your need for IT resources. And because this is software and we build our trading partner as a function of our software and as a license key, we maintain compliance. So if Walmart or Costco or any other of your trading partners change the way they want you to do business with them, we know ahead of time, and the changes are already made to keep you compliant. So for you as a potential buyer for EDI, it's about simplifying the accounting, it's about simplifying the reporting, and it's about ensuring that you're getting credit for everything that you ship and you're shipping the right product at the right time. So Bobbie, I hope you don't mind, but before you do a little live demo, which I know you're prepared for, would you just give us next level down from a EDI kind of 101 perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Neil. Hi, everyone. What we're going to talk about today with EDI and the EDI flow of data, um, as Neil talked about, your trading partners. So your trading partners could be customers, and in the retail space, that could be, Walmart or Costco, any type of grocery stores, different entities like that. But it can also be some of these other um, people that you see on the list here, right? So they could be retails, your customers. They could be third-party logistics warehouses that you deal with. You can exchange EDI documents that way. It could be motor carriers that you work with, or suppliers. So when we talk about inbound and outbound documents, you could be receiving a purchase order from a customer, but then you could also turn around and send an 850 purchase order to your supplier. So the iReady platform is really an anything to anything translation software that translates EDI documents or other forms of documents. So you may have customers that might order from you by just sending you an email with a spreadsheet attached to it, and then someone is manually entering that data into the ERP system. Well, we can translate any of that type of data. So if it's an XML file or a CSV spreadsheet type of document, or of course, any type of EDI document, we can translate that information into the format that your ERP requires for creating those customer orders or sales orders in the ERP. Our main platform and what we really want to be doing for you is automating and integrating everything as much as we possibly can for this business documents flowing back and forth. So trying to minimize the amount of time that people are manually having to do things with this data. And that's what we're going to take a look at today. On this flow here, you can see just some examples, right, of inbound versus outbound. So we could receive, again, an 850 purchase order or from a customer, or we could also receive an invoice from a supplier or a remittance advice showing you that a customer has made payment. On the outbound, so we're translating that data and exchanging that with the ERP system, your system of record. Then your ERP would then, for customer side, for example, create all of the shipments. And from that information that you create in your ERP, that data is exported from the ERP system to the iReady system, and we will translate that data into the format for your trading partner. And again, some of those documents could be an outbound purchase order to supplier, sending an invoice or an advanced ship notice, or a purchase order acknowledgement to your customer. So we're going to take a look at that flow today as we
Bobbie,
go through a demo.
before you start the demo, you touched on a really good point that I think a lot of our heavy material focused manufacturing customers, which is a lot of people, but we know that, we've got customers that do a lot with raw materials, right? A lot of raw steel, a lot of raw materials as part of their manufacturing process. And iReady is a great tool to manage their suppliers, right? And can you just talk a little bit more about the benefits of that? You touched on it. But iReady doesn't need to be deployed just in a customer facing perspective. It can help manage your purchasing of raw materials in alignment with your MRP and your demand driven by your customers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we're just translating the data here, right? our EDI translator is taking the information that you have and getting it to your trading partners. So when we're talking about supplier side, you may have customers that are ordering from you with EDI, but then you can turn around and also send EDI documents to your supplier. Or if you have smaller suppliers that really can't take an EDI document, we can translate that into a spreadsheet or CSV file that can be sent to them so they can easily use that information on their side. If they're a smaller supplier that's not EDI compliant, they can actually use that information with whatever ERP system or whatever system that they use on their side. So it is automating both sides of your business process.
So it can be a centralized tool used by the purchasing team, right, within a
Yes.
manufacturer to manage big vendors that use EDI and also smaller vendors that need purchase orders in a different fashion. But you have that, you'll see some of the dashboards, you'll see some of the workflows. It can be used just as easily on the supplier side. Okay. Thank you,
Yep,
Bobbie, for that.
absolutely.
You can share your screen. I have stopped share.
Okay.
We can see it.
All right. So what you're looking at here, as I mentioned, the whole process for EDIs, we really want to automate the process and integrate it as much as possible with your ERP system. So the big thing that happens with the EDI translator system is we have a scheduler. So with EDI, you have different connections to your trading partners. So they could be an electronic mailbox with a value-added network, a VAN, or you might have a direct connection, like an AS2 connection to Walmart, for example. So we set up all of these different connections with your different trading partners. So we're very flexible on whatever communication method needs to be used. And we just set up these jobs to go out and check for the data. So here's an example of going out to a VAN, a value-added network electronic mailbox, to pick up the data. And it's running every 30 minutes from 6 a.m. to 11:45. And it runs Monday through Saturday. So these jobs are very easy for you to define. You might have different trading partners with different connections that would be set up here, and you can set up how often you would like that information to be picked up. It can be once a day, it can be once in the morning, once in the afternoon, like this here every 30 minutes. And those jobs will run in the scheduler behind the scenes. So no one needs to log into the software and say, I'm going to go check and see if there's any EDI now. It all runs behind the scenes and lets you know when something actually happens. So, for example, you can take a look at the various jobs. In the scheduler, we have a complete history of everything that is happening with EDI. So as we kind of flow down, you can see at noon here, we went out and picked up the data from the mailbox. We received data from a few different trading partners, Kroger and Trader Joe's. Then 30 minutes later, we went out again and we got data from different trading partners, this time Winco, Delhaize, Kroger again. And then what we do is we actually create reports of that data that's coming in. So for example, we can take a look at this purchase order report that came in during the translation. And what we do is we actually take the information from the EDI data that we pick up, and we translate that into the form for the ERP. And these reports are kind of a heads up to your customer service department that these orders are now in the ERP and ready for processing. So that, again, they don't have to be going out and saying, I'm going to check EDI, I'm going to check EDI. This information comes in. They can receive that via an email, and it can be separated by trading partner. So if you have a certain group in customer service that deals with Walmart and Costco, but another group deals with a different trading partner, these can all be routed to these different groups of individuals in customer service. And it lets them know that now in the ERP, this data has been processed and they will see these orders. And we also create orders for different transactions that come in. So you can see here, for example, is an acknowledgement report. So when you send EDI to a trading partner, the trading partner will send back a document called a 997 or functional acknowledgement that just lets you know that that data has been received. So we create reports for that. We create reports for remittance advices that could be automatically then forwarded to your accounting department. So we've got everything, again, totally automated for you and alerting the various individuals that need to be involved of when data is coming in. And then we also, during the process of receiving the data, is we will also send back the functional acknowledgement to the trading partners, letting them know that you have received their data. So that's the inbound side of things. In the reverse, when you create a shipment, for example, for a customer, so if you received a purchase order, then if you accept the purchase order and you go to release it, for example, in your ERP system, if that trading partner requires a purchase order acknowledgement or an order confirmation that says to them, yes, I can meet these dates and these quantities that you asked for, that document can trigger an export of that information from the ERP to iReady when the orders are shipped in the ERP system or they're invoiced in the ERP system. That also triggers the information to flow back out to iReady, and then we bring it into the system. So we actually do take the information from the ERP, we import it into the iReady system, and then we build the data that's required for the trading partner. And during the build of that EDI data, we will let you know if there's something wrong. We don't want to send EDI data to a trading partner that doesn't have all of the pertinent information or the mandatory fields that are required. So we will let you know if there's an issue. So, for example, if we take a look here, you can see we would alert when we import the data. So here you can see that we imported an Associated Wholesale Grocers invoice, and this is the invoice number here. And then what we do is we try to build that data and make sure that everything is compliant with the Associated Wholesale Grocers EDI spec. And in this situation, the first line of the invoice that was imported was missing some pertinent data. So it gives you the error message here about either a case code UPC or a customer part number is mandatory on this invoice and this detail line. So that gives the user a heads up that that information is wrong and they need to correct it so that the invoice can be sent. Now, you can do this one of two ways. The correction could be done in the ERP system. He can log into the ERP system, make that correction, and send the data over to iReady again with the corrected information. But we also do keep this information inside of iReady. So if I take a look here and I go to that was an invoice maintenance, where this is the information where it comes in. And if I pull up my trading partner, which in this case was AWG, and I do a query, I can take a look at the various invoices that I have. Now you can see these invoices here have generation dates in them. And I can see these particular documents here don't have a generated date. So I know that there was something that stopped them from being able to be sent to the trading partner. So if I look at my AWG invoice, you can see there's no generation date here. So if I click on this, I actually can go to my details and I can bring up the lines. And on line 1, it said it was missing the information. So here's line 1. And then I can either enter my customer part or my UPC code. And then I can update the document and go ahead and send the document right from here.
Okay, so you've got flexibility around users, right? Not everyone needs to be using the ERP, and I know adjustments can be made here. Are there pros and cons, Bobbie, around making the updates in iReady versus in the ERP, or is it just a choice, a flexibility choice?
It actually, most customers will make the update in the ERP system. So just everything, again, the ERP is really the system of record. So most of the time that they would make the update in the ERP and export it again. Sometimes though, there are some ERPs that once something like a shipment, for example, is closed, you can't make any changes to it. So this allows you to be able to correct that information. Or you might send a document to a trading partner, and maybe it was okay that you had a purchase order, but maybe the purchase order number wasn't correct.
Okay.
You can make that correction as well here in iReady if needed and resend the document if you are unable to make those updates in the ERP system.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
So one other thing I wanted to talk about is the business activity monitor, or the dashboards that we have. So some of the things that I just showed you in the scheduler also are available here on the dashboard. So this is a document overview of EDI that's flowing in and out. So you can see I can actually hover over different days and it will tell me my total documents, how many sent, how many received. Here it's broken out by trading partner. Down below, it's broken out by transaction type. And here we have the detail of those documents. And then this one here is kind of similar here, but instead of the last 7 days, this is a 30-day window, which is kind of nice for sales. So they can kind of see the amount of orders and things like that that are coming in from different customers and so on. And I can filter this information by sent or received, or I could click on a particular day and everything would update for that particular day. And I have all of my detail up here, like the different transactions and those document numbers. And I have an inbound dashboard. This inbound dashboard has some of the things that we looked at in the scheduler, right? These purchase order reports. So they can go in an email to customer service, or customer service could get them from the dashboard as well. And again, we've got our last 7-day receives, the document detail. And here we've got the acknowledgments of the data that we've received and sent back to the training partner that we received their information.
Would you say, Bobbie, that the dashboards and the reports are kind of best used and are kind of managed by exception perspective? We draw attention to the problems with the translation,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, absolutely. Again, you know, nobody wants to have to be logging in and looking at things, right? So they can get these exceptions of, hey, all these other invoices went, but this one needs your attention. It wasn't able to send. And the same thing with any inbound data, right? Here's the information. Some customers want to see those PO reports as the heads up, but
Okay.
sometimes people just want to look in the ERP and they can see what's come in. And then maybe if they have a question, they can go back to the dashboard and see, okay, I had, 10 purchase orders from Walmart today. I should have 10 purchase orders from Walmart in my ERP system. So all of this information is easy to see, and you can have different uses. If you like the dashboard, you can use the dashboard. If you prefer emails, you have that option as well.
Do we
And so, oh, I'm sorry.
I was just you talked about ERP a number of times here, obviously ERP being the system of record. Do we work with some ERPs? Do we work with all ERPs? What's our restrictions?
Yeah, we have a lot of kind of out of the box ERPs that we work with a lot, like some of the Infor products, like Infor Sightline is one that we've been a partner with for many, many years. IFS, Oracle, SAP, just for us, again, because it's anything to anything, we can map the data to any type of layout and any API that's needed.
So if we haven't worked with your ERP before, then we can do an anything to anything API and translator.
Yes, absolutely.
And with those customers, a follow-on question, those customers with multiple sites, multiple locations, maybe running different ERPs, can we have a common translator with different ERPs?
Yeah, absolutely. When you log into iReady, so iReady is a browser-based system, and you log into the software and you can have multiple company codes. So you could have one facility as one company code and another facility as a different company code, and they could both use different ERPs or different instances of the same ERP.
Okay.
And we could actually receive data into one company and split it to another if needed by part number or supplier code and so on.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we've kind of went through just the inbound and the outbound processing here to give you an idea of the flexibility of iReady and the options for you for customer side and supplier side processing of EDI document or any other type of document today.
I have a handful of questions here. If you're in the audience and you'd like to ask a question, please do so at the chat function at the bottom. But one of the questions I have, let me go back to share my screen. One of the questions I have talks about implementation timeline. If you're setting up trading partners, maybe 6 to 10 out of the box kind of trading partners, what's the contract to kind of go live, typical deployment journey look like, Bobbie?
Yeah, so we do offer on-premise as well as cloud deployment. Most customers now do end up with cloud deployment. They prefer that, for disaster recovery and all of that that's already built in. But for the implementation, so we would either create your companies on the Radley cloud servers or install the software if it's on premise. We would set up the trading partners. Now, if we already have them, those are kind of out of the box. We turn them on. If you've got some trading partners that maybe we don't already have in our vast library, then we would take those and get those over to be mapped. But that doesn't really hold up the implementation. We can be moving forward. You'll have a consultant that actually works with you to test all of the transactions with your partners. And then, training on how to use the software and so on. And then we'll be there with you for go live. If you were talking probably, say 6 trading partners out of the box, we could do that implementation in as little as 4 to 6 weeks, probably. If the customer is ready, if the trading partner is ready for the testing and all of that, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, great. What else? Around the coming back to the supplier side again, is that set up the same way? Does Radley have supplier side trading partners ready to go out of the box, or is that a build as we go process?
We do have some that are out of the box. Some of the larger companies, one that comes to mind is like Grainger, for example. Grainger could be a customer, but Grainger could also be a supplier.
Right.
And because they're large, they kind of dictate the specifications of what's going to happen customer side as well as supplier side. So we may have some of those, but we can work with each company to come up with their own spec for their suppliers. So for example, let's say you have 10 suppliers and you would like to do to all of them a standard CSV file that you would send to them. Mm-hmm. We can work with you to define that CSV, what information is going to be in the first field, the second field, and so on. And then you can work with your suppliers to say, this is what we're rolling out. This is what's going to be coming to you. And it works very good for our customer because they have something standardized for their suppliers. It's also very cost effective that way because they're using the same spec for multiple vendors.
Okay. Yeah. So as a reminder, we're obviously trying to minimize the amount of errors, right? The people on the manufacturers on the webinar today are using ShopVue as an MES. You're looking for accurate releases from your ERP, real-time accurate releases, depending on what industry you're in, but you want to be building ideally just in time, right? But you want to be shipping on time and having your ERP not having to wait or having to deal with human errors, right? From the customer service team and your partners. And if there are errors, having a software solution tell you what those errors are and fixing them. I can certainly see the value to a lot of our customers. So I think that's the couple of questions we had, Bobbie. So I want to thank you for your time. And I want to encourage the audience to reach out to me, and I will connect you with my colleagues on the go-to-market team that are EDI experts and answer any questions that you may have. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Neil. My contact details are here. And I'm sure we will be reaching out with a follow-up question to you after this webinar. But thank you very much. Feel free to share the recording when you receive it with your colleagues that may have interest, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks again, Bobbie.
Yeah, thank you.